Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back. I'm Jem. This is my creative space. Wow, what are we doing today? Well, we've got a couple of hashtags today. This is the last video in the Creep on June 2026 series, which of course is our wonderful June challenge hosted by Tracie Fox at Tracie Fox Creative. And each year in June, Tracie produces a kit with a bit of a creepy, spooky theme and puts it out there for people to do what they like with it. So this is what I did with the kit this year, and if you haven't seen the rest of the videos, check out the playlist, check out my playlist, but also check out the hashtag Creep on June 2026, because there's been some brilliant contributions from different creative people out there. Lots of different ideas, and it's always fun to see what other people do with the same kit and the same material. But anyway, I have made this little sort of box book journal story. And the other hashtag we're dipping into today is Flip Through Friday, which is hosted by Gwen at Gwen the Trash Witch. So both of those other channels will be listed below. And Flip Through Friday is where we have a look at anything we've been doing, something we've found that's interesting, that other people might like, all those kind of things. So I'm going to have a flip through today. So this year's theme from Tracie was sort of grim fairy tales, and we had a kit full of slightly creepy woodland creatures. And I have stuck mainly with the kit. I have added in a few bits and pieces, and we had boxes this year to make, and as you can see, my box is sort of starting to explode a little bit, but that's okay, we're going to work with that. So I decided to make a book in a box, and I decided to tell my own little grim fairy story. And I'm not going to retell the whole thing today. If you're interested, as I say, have a look at my playlist and you can flick back through the videos, start at the beginning, work your way through. Most of them are only about 10 minutes or less, some of them, so each chapter has a bit of a different story. Now, so I put this box together and created like an accordion concertina insert to go in it. My original thought, and I'm going to just lift this out, I have this piece of sari silk which helps me lift it in and out of its box. My original thought was to attach it to the base there and pull it out, but I got so involved in the story that I completely forgot to leave the last page to do that. And actually I quite like being able to lift it out and kind of put the box aside. So as I said, I'm not going to retell the whole story today, but I'll give you a brief overview and the gist of it. So we're going once upon a grim wood, and our story is set. I just have to take this off, hold on. Oh, there we go, we'll pop that in there. The story is set in Grimwood, and we have the castle in the Grimwood with King Reynard. Now, for lots of reasons, King Reynard has a bit of a hidden life, and he goes out at night hunting. And he's hunting for the person who murdered his beautiful wife. So there's this side of our story. But in the meantime, he has remarried, and of course we have the Queen Matilda here, and she is the evil queen. She's very sort of self-absorbed. It's all about her. And of course she is also the wicked stepmother. And we have double trouble here. We have Frida and Freddie, who are the king's twins from his first marriage. And really the fairy story is about Frida and Freddie and an adventure they have in the grim wood. And I'm not going to tell you how they come to have this adventure, but here is the castle and the woods. And off they go through the woods on their adventure. And as they travel through, they meet lots of different people. And this is the first person they meet. This is Dudley. This is Dudley the Deceiver. And Dudley has a couple of sides to him. And so, I mean, the story was partly inspired by we had these lovely little, I thought they were like little passports or identity cards. So for each of the characters in my story, they have an identity card and a little bit of a tale that goes along with them. Now the next person they meet in their journey is the wise old owl. And we have a little charm here which I'll tell you about in a minute. And here is the owl. In a number of different guises actually. And this is where they meet him. And the wise old owl gives the twins this funny looking charm. So I really enjoyed sort of finding different ways to utilise the bits and pieces that came in the kit. Because the next person they met was Rosie. And here we go, this is Rosie's story. Here she is. And there's a coffin in the woods, which is part of Rosie's story. And an old tattered photo. And Rosie gives the twins a string of blue pearls. Now the stones are also significant on the twins' journey. And the next person they meet is Mr. Brock. They also meet Mr. Brock's sisters. And this is the house with the lovely fire and the big bubbling cauldron. But there's also some fairly sinister things in the house of Mr. Brock. Lots of bottles and jars with kind of unidentified things in. Oh, put them back in there. The next person they meet is the Mirror Man, and he's very interesting. And again, he gives the twins a mirror, which is, and these things that they're collecting along the way have significance later on. So there's our Mirror Man, and then they come to the Searcher. And this young lady is searching in the graveyard. And then, of course, they come to the gingerbread house. And there's more standing stones. And the seemingly friendly squirrel who owns the gingerbread house turns out to be the child catcher. their story takes a little bit of a turn for the better, really, because they're rescued by the Raven, who is the ferryman. And he takes them across the river in the forest in his boat and sets them on the right path. And as they continue on this path, they meet a few more people. They meet the Sisters of Fate, who spin black and white threads. And then continuing on through the forest, they meet the beautiful lady dressed in blue, who gives them a black feather. Now, in the meeting with the lady, there's also a coach and a beautiful shining white shoe. There she is. And then eventually they make it back to the castle, which is their home. The Raven makes another appearance. And finally, they're reunited with their father. And all the things that they have been given along the way have some significance. The wicked stepmother makes an appearance as well, as does the beautiful blue lady. But as they say, in the end, they all lived happily ever after. So there we go. That was our Flip Through Friday this week. It was Creep on June 2026, The Tales of Grimwood. Artwork by Tracie Fox. Story by myself, Gem. As I say, if you want to find out more details, please do check out the playlist and have a look at the videos. I want to give a big acknowledgement to Tracie Fox, for producing the artwork and the inspiration for my story. I have thoroughly enjoyed this challenge. It was something a bit different. It wasn't really a journal. It was more about weaving a story around, inspired by and around the images and the characters that Tracie provided. And I have to say, I have really enjoyed doing that. So there we go, guys. Tune in over the weekend. There will be, because that's the end of Creep on June now, but over the weekend there will be another video in the interactive journal page series. And then next week we've got something a little bit different. So don't forget to have a look and see what's coming up next. For now, thank you so much for all of those of you who have watched and been with me all the way through this Grimwood tale. I've loved your comments. I've loved the fact that you've been loving the story as much as I've had fun creating it. So stay safe. Happy crafting, everybody. Thank you so much. Ka kite anō. See you soon.